All right, it is time for a makeup play date, and I am very excited for this one. Pros and cons of this one. The con is that this is one of the videos that I have already filmed that my microphone wasn't working during. So that sucks for me. But the benefit for you is the fact that since filming that, I have now tried out most of these products multiple times, and I have more than just a first impression. So I'm gonna talk to you a little bit about what we're gonna be going through today, and I have a couple extra goodies that I didn't have for the last video. Some things that I purchased and a few things that were sent in PR. So I cannot wait to sit and play with makeup with all of you. But if we haven't met before, my name is Kelly and I'm a professional hair and makeup artist. And here on my channel, I strive to keep beauty real. Real honest, real relatable, and real fun. So if that sounds like something you'd enjoy, don't forget to click subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. All right, a little dive into a few of the things that we're gonna be trying today. You all know that I've been waiting for this little baby, the RMS ReDimension Hydra bronzer. This is one of the things that came after I filmed the last video, so I cannot wait to share with you and let you know which shade I decided to get. Like I said, I have been trying it out for a couple days now. I also am still more tan than I usually am, so we'll talk about that a little bit. Speaking of more tan than I usually am, I can't wait to talk to you about the new Urban Decay Face Bond Foundation. This came and I was so excited because it is a light medium olive. And you know that I love a good olive undertone. I was a little worried because I am obviously quite a bit deeper than I normally am, but I'm very excited to give you my thoughts on this one because this is one that I wore all week long. I will also give you a little look at what it looked like with a like 5 or 6 hour wear test the first time that I wore it. So that's another pro for you. I also have a few products from a new to me brand to share with all of you. I have a new product from a not so new to me brand, and I will be giving you my honest thoughts on that. And I'm really excited about this one because this is one that came the day after I filmed that last video. Sigma sent over the beautiful new Cool Neutrals palette. I cannot wait to try this. I managed to keep my fingers out of this for all of you, so I just want to show you how beautiful this like little presentation was. This palette is absolutely pretty. I'm gonna give you a look at it because as I am filming this video, it comes out in a couple days and I can't wait to give you my thoughts. I will probably be doing more looks with this, so if you're curious for a more in-depth look, maybe follow me on Instagram because I'll probably post one over there as well, but we're gonna be using this together today. I wanna give you a peek real quick. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with this box, but I'm going to do something with it. I literally don't know what I could possibly do with this, but I just love this packaging. Like, this earthy, like very geode, like almost, yeah, oh my gosh, I just absolutely love this. So the palette itself though, still very stunning. Like even just the insert, I mean, look at that. That is so pretty, but not as pretty as what we have inside here. So you can see here we have some beautiful, soft, cool neutrals. And you know that I have been enjoying cooler tones myself these days. So I am very excited to dip into this. How I managed to restrain myself from digging my fingers in, I don't know. I also really love that we have a nice brush inside. Now, dual-sided brushes are usually not my favorite, but we have a Sigma quality dual-sided brush. So this is gonna be nice for like grab and go ease. I will use this one today and we will see what I think. All right, so lots of things to be trying on with you and giving you my thoughts on. And again, most of these I have used before. So this will be a little bit more of a, you know, not so first impression review, which I think is always helpful. It's always fun to get the first impressions, but it's probably more helpful to know what someone thinks after a few times of using something. I will give you all the details on everything. Things will be linked down below. I'll let you know what was purchased and what was PR. Let's get into it. Okay, I think I'm going to throw caution to the wind and decide to do my complexion before my eyes. I think we'll be okay. I'm believing in Sigma that there's not going to be a lot of fallout. So let's go ahead and start off with the Urban Decay Face Bond Foundation. Again, I was so excited to see this arrive on my doorstep. You're not gonna get to see me unveil the cute little PR package. Super generous. They sent over the foundation, also the sponge, which I do have to say I'm absolutely loving. And I was really excited that they also included the all-nighter setting spray. This is still one of my, not one of my absolute favorite setting sprays. And this one, which I purchased myself, is almost gone. So it was great timing. I have to go wet this guy. So I will be right back and I'll give you the details on the foundation. Okay, take a peek. Check out this big daddy. He got so big, but I really do like this. It's very soft, very squishy. Now what they're saying is if you're wanting a natural skin-like finish, to go ahead and use the sponge. If you're wanting more full coverage, then to use a brush. And for maximum coverage, you can use your fingers. Of course, if you know me, you know that I just really like a natural, almost somewhat like light to sheer coverage. The other thing is that this is a pinch light for me. Now I'm probably already a little bit more light than I was in that original try on video. So that means to make sure that I can make this work, I do need to have this a bit more on the sheer side. But I can tell you that I have worn it almost at full coverage and intermixed. I've mixed it with things, all of that. I do also know that since recently I talked about another olive skin complexion product. You're all probably wondering what's it like compared to the Lisa Eldridge Seamless Skin Enhancing Tint. I will show you the colors side by side. These formulas are very different. This is definitely more, I would say, satin glowy, sort of more of that like, I think there's a bit more hydration to this one. This is, I mean, the brand even says that this is more of a natural matte finish. I would definitely say this is almost like a satin matte. It's not chalky matte. It is actually a very beautiful finish. The brand says that this is a self-setting product, that no powder is needed. I have done it both ways. I'm actually gonna set certain areas and not set them, which is what I did for that try on as well. Waterproof, humidity proof, and sweat proof foundation. They say it's up to 24-hour wear, although none of us need to be wearing product for 24 hours, of course. I also love that this comes in 40 shades. So again, the brand sent over 13, which is listed as a light, medium, cool olive. I have T5 in Lisa's Seamless Skin Enhancing, which is also listed as a cool olive. You'll see here, I mean, you can tell just right away that, well, I would think you can tell that the Seamless Skin is a little bit more liquidy. This one definitely has a bit more viscosity to it. It is also less of a cool olive. The olive is there, but it's not quite as saturated of an olive tone. Like it almost looks neutral on my skin here, but it definitely does have some olive to it. And I think even just from those little swatches there, you can tell that Lisa's has a bit more glow to it. So that means if you're looking for a nice olive shade and maybe the Seamless Skin was going to be a little bit too glowy for you, you might really enjoy this. I will give you my thoughts on the finish of it, the wear, as we get further in. For now, I'm going to wipe these off and we'll get ready to put this on my face. All right, now I'm taking one drop and I'm putting that on one side of my face. Now, the reason for that is I have found that this foundation dries pretty quickly, which, I mean, matte foundations I tend to find dry much more quickly, but this one definitely, you definitely have to have some speed with it, even with applying it with a sponge. So what I've actually been enjoying doing, which also helps me sheer out this product, is I've been adding my, where is it? This one is in my Use It Up. In my project Use It Up. So the primerizer from Smashbox. So I just usually put a drop of that in, and that helps to give this a bit of sheerness, and it also just helps it kind of like spread. It's not like it's not doable, but the first time that I put this on, I kind of put it all over my entire face, and I really had to work on that second part that I got to because it was kind of stuck down a little bit. So that's just a little tip from me to you. I am also mostly depositing this pigment where I need it the most. And then I find that it's a little bit easier to sort of spread out, because if I start with more in an area that I need a little bit more, you know, there's less work to do. So maybe you can see here, if you can see where I put that little swoosh. That's a very technical term. I'm going to turn the light up just a little bit as we've zoomed in. Right here along the edges, I do have a spot that I have to work on a little bit. So that is the one thing for me is if you're someone who it takes you a minute to blend out your product, you might want to, you know, add a little bit of moisturizer into this guy, which will also make it last longer, which is kind of nice. So I'm going to just take a tiny little bit and pop it on my nose so you can see. I mean, this is pretty light for me right now, but we're just gonna go with it because then you can see the true skin finish. I have been mixing this with a darker product and I do really like that. Okay, there we go. I'm feeling pretty good about that. So I have been mixing this with the MAC Face and Body Foundation in like a crazy dark shade. What is this? N5. I bought this after another vacation and it's so dark. But the combination of the two, color-wise, has worked really well. And also the fact that this is a very glowy foundation, this is more of a natural matte. It's actually worked very beautifully. But today you'll get to see what this looks like. So you can see here, and again, I mean, I put on, I would say like 2.5 drops, right? Like it is matte, but I'm not chalky. Like I can still see a little bit of skin glow. By the way, it is 5:30 at night. And so earlier in the day, I did my normal skincare. So to refresh, I just used a hydrating facial mist before I sat down. So I don't have like fresh moisturizer on, which also maybe would have helped, but I wanted to keep it real with all of you. So I'm feeling pretty happy about this. So I do have to say, I think that this color will be perfect for me when I am my normal average shade. I find that at the end of the day, even on a day where I have just been going crazy, which has been all of my days recently, lots of long days at the salon, it still looks great for the entire day. You know, I find that it doesn't get very glowy, but it also doesn't look dry. You know, I think it's sort of hard to find that balance. Now, usually I follow up with a concealer, and I have been setting the concealer, but I haven't been setting this foundation anywhere else. Maybe a bit on my forehead and nose, but everything else has lasted really beautifully throughout the day. And I also feel like because of the slight olive undertone, that it cuts down the redness in my breakouts enough to where I've felt, well, my breakouts and my acne scars, which both have like a red pigment to them, it calms it down just enough that I'm like, meh. I don't need to do any of that other stuff. I don't need to mess around with anything. It just calms it down a little bit. I've really been more into like less makeup, and so this has really helped save the day. So that being said, we're gonna kind of go on the other side of the world of skin finishes. This is the Salt New York Best Case Concealer. This one came out recently and I have been using this for a while. I think I actually got it before vacation. I was gonna take it on vacation, but I knew it would probably be a little too light for me. But this I have actually really been enjoying, but it is a bit more of an emollient product, so I definitely will be setting this. I believe I got shade 11 in this. I will double check on that, and I will notate it down where I'll have all the products linked for all of you. But I have really been enjoying this concealer. I'm just gonna go through and apply a little bit of this with the A506 from BK Beauty and of course Angie Hot and Flashy. Now, the one place I am not going to put this concealer is on my eyelids. And you know that a lot of times I do like to prime my eyelids with concealer. We are not gonna do that today with this product because this is a bit more emollient and I don't want to disrupt the longevity of eyeshadow with it. So I'm really just gonna do my inner corner and my under eyes, and then just a bit around the nose and maybe on some of the areas of my nose that are red, but that's pretty much it. So there was something about this concealer, and I don't really know what it is, but I actually like the look of it. You know, like 20 minutes after I've put it on, I've set it, I just find that it sort of blends into the skin. This does have a tiny little mirror on the back here, which I'm using. And I can't really tell you what it is, but you know, when the first time I applied it and I put it on, I was like, oh, I don't know how I'm gonna feel about this. And I set it and I was like, And then when I went back like 20 minutes later, it looked better. I do find that this probably has a 5-hour life of wear, if you will. But that being said, it doesn't mean that like it looks bad after 5 hours. I just find that it sort of has like faded away in that time. So it's not patchy, it doesn't look weird, it just isn't there as much. I just don't have as much coverage. And honestly, sometimes I would rather that. I would rather something that fades off beautifully than something that still has some coverage but looks like weird skin. Does that make any sense? So far I've been pretty happy with this. I don't know if this will be a product that I will use much in the summertime just because of the emolliency. I also don't think that this would be my go-to product over breakouts just because that emollient level for me, it takes away the coverage sooner than what I would want if I am taking the time to cover breakouts. Like if I'm taking the time to cover breakouts, it must be because I've got something going on that day that I want to have like an extended, perfected look. That being said, if you find you're having one of those days where you sort of want to cover your breakouts, but they're also in that like crusty peely phase, and if you get breakouts, you know what I'm talking about. So if you find you're in that moment, the nice thing about this is because it is fairly hydrating and it has that emolliency, it will not look quite as you know, flaky as it could with some other products. So I am going to powder my nose since I put that concealer on my nose, but the rest, let's just go ahead and leave and we'll see how we feel by the end of sitting down here. So right now I'll just show you a quick clip of application once I had the face bond and the Best Case concealer on so that you can see, so that way when I show you a little clip of the 5-hour mark wear test, you'll have a better idea. Okay, so now that we have that on, let's go ahead and put on some bronzer together, especially because I do feel like that foundation lightened me up a little bit. Not too bad. I mean, I feel like even though I'm pretty tan right now, this actually works pretty well, but I do think we can bring some dimension to the face. Now, if you are not new to my channel, you will know how much I absolutely love the ReDimension Hydra blush formula. I also actually really love the Hydra Dew Luminizer, but the blushes is what has quickly made this a brand that I absolutely love. So when I saw the sneaks of the bronzer coming out, I knew I was gonna have to get at least one. I did decide to just get one for now, and the shade that I got is Malibu Muse. Now, I was very drawn in to the more like neutral, cool undertone of the first one. Something Betty, is that what it is? I don't even remember, but that one was listed for like fair to light, I think. And after talking to my gorgeous friend Lock Maiden, she was given 2 shades from the brand, the 2 deeper ones. And you know, she was like they need deeper. And she felt like the 3rd shade didn't really do anything for her. And when I was like looking at the images and everything, I was like, you know what, I probably could get that 3rd shade to work. And so I had a feeling that I would need to be on the side of going deeper because I could probably sheer it out a little bit. Like even right now, this shade, I don't get a lot out of it. And especially because I don't like to really apply a lot of powder product. I want something that I can apply a sheer wash of and have it be enough color that, you know, I still see something, but I can build it up to make a little bit more too. You know, like I like something buildable, but I don't want to have to put so much product on just to make it look like I put anything on, you know, because then you just got a lot of powder on your face. But this does add, you know, you can see it adds a bit of warmth. I'm always a little worried when you hear luminous bronzer, not necessarily from this company because I had a feeling they were going to kill it with the formula. I definitely don't want something that has sparkle in it. I also really don't want something that looks really sheeny. You know, like I want, on a scale of 1 to 10 of luminosity in a bronzer, I kind of want like a 4, you know, where it looks like healthy, juicy, dewy skin, a click above satin, but not like getting too sheeny. You know what I mean? So I think that this really does nicely. I do think I probably could have gotten away with the next shade up, especially because I do, if I'm like out in sun season, I do tend to get a bit more color. But that being said, this is one that I can use all year round. So I'm glad with the shade that I got. I would be very curious though to see the 3rd out of 4 shades. And I also do agree with Locke in saying that they probably need at least 1, if not 2 more shades. If this is the 2nd, I'm not the deepest of deep by any means. So the fact that there's only 2 deeper shades from here, I don't really know how I feel about that. You let me know. If you've tried it or you've watched some videos from deeper skin content creators, I would really be curious to know. But very, very pleased with the formula. I like that it's not quite as glowy as the blushes are. It just gives enough to give you that like healthy skin look, and I am very happy with it. So very, very excited to have this one in my collection, as I had a feeling I probably would. I did buy that, by the way. The only product so far that I've gotten in PR was the Face Bond Foundation. I want to make sure to be saying that as we go through. All right, so now let's go ahead and pop on a little bit of blush. This is a blush that I purchased a while ago and I hadn't used it. I hadn't used it before the last makeup play date. I did try this on. This is from Rose Inc. I know this is one that a lot of people love. It is the Lip and Cheek color and I have the shade Heliotrope. I bought this in the set with like the little mini lipstick and I hadn't tried it. I mean, I think I got this in one of the Sephora sale on sales, or like quite possibly the last Sephora sale, not the one that just happened, but the one before that, and it just sat around. Can that be? It had to be a sale on sale. I hope I hadn't waited that long, but we're gonna go ahead and put this one on. I'm gonna go ahead and go through with the BK Beauty 109. I took this brush on vacation with me and I used it for another cream product, and I really like it for cream blush. I do like it for like tinted moisturizer and things like that, but I have really been liking it for cream blush. And I also find, speaking of now that I'm putting a cream over a powder, I also find that the RMS bronzer, because the formula is so nice and thin, it's not very dry. It almost has that like gelée finish. It actually plays really well if you do want to put a cream over it, or you can certainly, you know, obviously put a cream on and then dust that over the top. But this is gonna be just enough. I have been wearing so much blush lately that this feels pretty soft because on vacation, you know, once I get a little tan, I'm like, yes, blush, give me all the blush. So this is a little bit more soft, but I think it's gonna go with the vibe, and it's definitely gonna go with that beautiful Sigma palette. I really like this. It has, again, it's almost like this is the theme of today's products. I feel like that skin finish that gives a bit of healthy look. It's not overly matte and dry looking. You know, it's not like 90s, a whole pressed palette of powder matte. It is just like very soft focus, blurring, great if you have a more oily skin type. And I don't. I mean, I would say I'm definitely in like a more normal range right now. We're not so far into winter that I'm at my hella dry, but I'm also not at my most like combo skin. In the summer, in the humidity, right here gets a little shiny, but I'm at that like mid-range right now. I think this is absolutely beautiful. Very happy to have this. Would I go out and get any more shades? Probably not. The reason I got this is like, ooh, a pretty like dusty mauve. I'm gonna throw it in here. I don't think I have a lot of shades like this. I just did that blush declutter, so hopefully I was being true to myself, but I don't feel the need to run out and get more of this formula. I feel like this is a bit juicier. I feel like this is a bit juicier and dewier than the Yummy Skin, the Flush Balms, but in that range. They could be cousins, you know, and I have a lot of shades in that product, but this is just a bit more glowy than that one. So very happy with it so far. I just realized I didn't do any lip prep, so I am gonna go ahead and throw on some of the beautiful Sigma mask that I really enjoy, and I'm gonna do my brows, and I'll come back and we'll get into the eyes. Cannot wait. Okay. Have brows on, just a bit of quick powder and brow wax, and we are good. Now, the reason I wanted to prep my lips is we are going to be using a matte lipstick, and I always like to prep my lips before I do that. Queen Musia offered to send me over some of their products, and I'm so very excited to give you my thoughts on the lipsticks and the mascara. So we do have 2 shades of the matte cream lipstick, and of course the 2053 mascara to try on for you today. Now, I did try on Montreux, which is this beautiful sort of like terracotta, but you know, it's not too orange, it's not super brown, it's, I don't know, kind of like a corally terracotta. And I also got the shade Becky Sharp, which is this beautiful, I would say like a rosy mauve. These are just such flattering shades, and that's the thing, when I was on the site picking out my shades, I had such a hard time because I was like, these all look like they'd look amazing on every single person, honestly. So I have to give them credit. I think there were 6 shades or so, so not a huge range so far. These are all the products that the brand has, but I would rather see a brand kill it, starting small and expanding. Speaking of killing it, can we just talk about this beautiful component? First of all, the color is amazing. I feel like this is this little like torpedo of pistachio gelato. Somebody on my Instagram, because I posted these in my stories, they said unicorn horn. I'm like, oh yeah, actually very, very much unicorn horn vibes, but I absolutely love these. So since I did try on Montreux, I will go ahead and give you a peek at that, but we will be trying Becky Sharp on today. I really like this matte lipstick, honestly, and I know it is not an inexpensive product. I think these were $36. The thing about it though is the finish is very comfortable, very creamy. They don't dry down powdery. And especially with Montreux, because I feel like that's the type of color that is going to give you that weird ring of death kind of thing. I don't know. In a lipstick, if a color is going to go bad, it's probably going to be something like that because they tend to have a bit of like a white in them. It was very flattering and it really did last so well. So I can't wait to try Becky Sharp on because I haven't yet. So we're going to do that together. But I do want to have a little lip prep on. The product that I used last time I got a couple new lip products. I was kind of disappointed in them. I'm not even giving them any airtime right now, but they'll be coming up in my favorites and fails, and you know where they're gonna be in that list. I don't know if it's really a fail, it's just sort of a wah-wah, you know, like not a fabulous. We'll call it a not a fabulous. So I wanted to get out something that I know that I absolutely love, and I'll be showing you the mascara as well. But before mascara comes eyeshadow, so let's dig into this Cool Neutrals palette. All right, so the Sigma Cool Neutrals. Now, like I said, this palette is not out yet. As I'm filming this, it might be out maybe the day that I pop up this video. We will have to see, or maybe it's already out. You can check out the site. I will have it linked down below if it is. Otherwise, I'll just have the Sigma site. Now, this palette will be $52, and I think especially, you know, considering that you have a nice brush in here, that's a really good price if it's great quality, and we'll see that together today. Now, I am an affiliate with Sigma. My code KEEPBEAUTYREAL will save you a discount, and if you choose to use either my link or my code, I thank you in advance. But of course, we are gonna get into my honest first impressions on this. Like I said, go ahead and give a follow on Instagram if you wanna see another look, because I'm sure we'll be playing with this as soon as possible again. All right, now to decide what we want to use. There is such a pretty range. I know that they're saying that this is a Cool Neutrals, but you have definitely some cools and you have some neutrals, even a couple warms in this. So I think you have a nice variety. Now the brand says that we have a versatile mix of matte, glitter, and metallic shades in here. And by glitter, I just want you to know it's not like pressed glitters, but you can see that there are like extra glitters in here. I'm gonna swatch some of these out. That will also help me decide what I wanna do. So let's go ahead and swatch a few of these. So much fun. All right, I'm gonna temporarily turn down my center light here just so you can see better. It's quite dark outside. It's been rainy and blah all day long, so welcome to my world, quite literally. But if I have this center light up too much, it will just wash these out. So I feel like here you can see the glitter finish of the shade. I feel like Iris is a little bit more of a smooth shimmer. Again, this is one that has glitter. This is polished. So it's sort of like a brown with some cool neutral sparkles. And then this shade is Burst. So this is what I'm talking about. You definitely have some shades in here that are more on the warm side, but Burst is just a beautiful, smooth metallic. I guess Iris kind of has some sparkles to it, but it doesn't look quite as sparkly. It just looks more shimmery. So you definitely have some different finishes here, but it's not like it's chunky glitter. It doesn't feel, it feels super, super smooth. And I like the different textures of this. This honestly gives me the vibes of a more refined version of like the Patrick Ta Patrick Ta Major Dimension shades, where you have that kind of like soft metallic finish, but then you have the sparkles, but these sparkles are a finer sparkle. Also, right away, this makes me think of a softer version of the finish in the Glaminatrix Nearly Naturals palette. So actually, I feel like this kind of gives some of those vibes too, like the palette does. So if you missed out on that one, this might be a really nice option. It is a little bit softer. It's not quite as metallic. Actually, I have that palette right here. Let me go ahead and swatch one of the shades. So this is what I was talking about. We have some similar vibes. This one has some greens, which the other one does not have. It also doesn't have quite as many cool tones. Sigma's Cool Neutrals is a little bit more cool, which I mean, kind of makes sense since cool is in the name. All right, so I just took one of the shades from the Glaminatrix. Can you see here how it has a little bit of shimmer to it, but it also has that metallic. So that's what I'm saying, where you have like a double finish in some of these shimmers, which is absolutely beautiful. It's not quite as sparkly. The Sigma one is like one click down in sparkle, but still very pretty. Now, on this hand, we might as well celebrate some of the mattes. You know I have to touch this Superior shade. This is this beautiful like dirty camel shade. We can take, let's take Harvest, which is a nice neutral, cool Talisman, which is a beautiful smoky plum, and Onyx, which looks to be like a dusty charcoal. I have to say, the Sigma palettes, the Sigma eyeshadow palettes that I have tried, I have absolutely loved. So I'm really excited. I don't know if I've ever had a full 14 pan, like a full large size. I have the Ivy palette, which I purchased myself. I have the Rendezvous palette, which was a Christmas palette, one of the little like minis, and they sent me the Corta Rosa palette, which is also very pretty. So you can see this has this very cool but neutral, not too blue, not too purple. I really like this. Now, where do I want to go with this? Oh my gosh. I mean, I think I need to go with something slightly cool. Like, you know that I love the like warm toasty, that dirty camel shade, you know, I'm going to be dipping into that one soon, but I feel like we should stick in this realm here, right? That Laguna shade was very pretty, that beautiful kind of like cool mauve tone. So maybe we'll do a little bit of that vibe. All right, sometimes the best way to start is just to start. So let's go ahead and take Fossil. That's this kind of pinky shade right here. That's always a safe bet. I feel like that's always a safe bet. Oh, and by the way, I did go through with a bit of concealer on my lids. I went through with the Oma Stay Woke concealer, which is sort of my like default lid primer when I'm going to be testing out a new eyeshadow palette or, you know, eyeshadow singles, just because I know that I love using that. That's oftentimes what I use. Again, I didn't want to use the Salt New York because that's so emollient, but the Oma one I use all the time. Look how easily that just blended out. I'm sitting here talking to you. I'm barely like looking at what I'm doing or paying attention to what I'm doing rather, and that worked really well. This is very pretty. The brush is actually really nice and soft. This is the E38 on one side and then the E52 on the other. So I have a feeling I'm gonna prefer something for packing on the shimmer different than the E54. Did I say 52? It's the 54. I usually like something that's a little bit more firm and more of like a lid packer. I don't know, I just find that like a bigger, softer brush leads to less control and then just a more diffused look. But if you like a diffused shimmer, that might be really great for you to use. Oh, this is such a pretty shade. Okay, I have to say this brush, first of all, the weightiness to it is so nice and it's so pretty. Can you see there? It's got that, you know, very like natural print to it, and it, like I said, I mean, it just has a really nice weight to it. Not a cheap brush. You know, sometimes when brands throw a brush into an eyeshadow palette, you just like immediately like chuck it. But this is a Sigma brush, y'all. Like, this alone has a decent value to it. I'm just gonna soften this edge out a little bit more. So right off the bat, I would say one caveat to this palette is that, you know, these two shades are the lightest in the palette as far as mattes go. So if you are very fair, you might be missing out on like a lighter blending shade. That being said, I do think that some of these deeper shades are going to be nice for people who have quite deep skin. So it's a good like mid-range. It doesn't have the deepest of the deep shades, but it also doesn't like have the fairest of the fair. And sometimes you just can't have it all. So let's see, I'm actually gonna use the Sweeper shade to put a little bit more detail in. So let's take that Talisman, that was that like smoky plum, and I'm gonna pop that on the outer corner and into the deeper part of my crease, and then I'll blend it out with the other side of the brush again. I've also just been going ham with this, forgetting that I had already done like my concealer and everything, so luckily I don't really have any fallout. That would have been bad. I should have been thinking about that a little bit more. I would be more careful normally and, you know, sort of stamping in the color first before going through and starting any like motions with the brush. But so far, so good, not too bad. Okay, so now that I have that laid down, I'm just simply gonna flip the brush over and just sort of blend that in. I'm gonna go through with the E30 from Sigma. This is just a little pencil brush, and I'm gonna take that Condor shade on the end. This isn't one that I swatched. It's just like a more smoky, sort of like charcoal brown. And I'm gonna put that on the lower lash line, just so we can use as many of these shades as possible. To make that lower lash line a little extra smoky, rather than take more of that Condor shade, I'm gonna go back into Fossil, that first shade that we used, and then right at the edge of Condor, I'm just gonna continue that and blend it out. All right, and actually I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna switch to the E36. You know that I love this little blender because it's so, I mean, it's just so featherweight. As a 42-year-old woman, my under eye skin is definitely getting to the point where it's got a little movement, if you know what I'm saying. So this brush, because it's so wispy, I can really go back and forth and get some blend without it moving my skin around a lot. Okay, perfect. I'm feeling like this is like updated 90s grungy supermodel vibes, you know, like smoky, smudgy, really liking it. Lid shade. Let's just go through with Laguna. I'm just gonna take a flat brush and pop that on. I am gonna wet my brush because I do that with all of my shades. So let's take the E57 and we will go ahead and do that. Again, this is just a little bit more flat and condensed. So we have the E57 here and then the E54. So I prefer something that is just a bit more condensed. It just tends to pack product on, you know, and that's what I want. I'm gonna use Fix Plus and we will just dab this on. I'm really excited to see this color. Ooh, okay, yeah. I think that this palette is gonna be great for someone who enjoys neutrals, but also wants a palette that has some desaturated colors to it. You know, like you essentially have a desaturated gold, a desaturated lavender, a desaturated plum. I'm assuming that the thunder shade is really gonna be like a smoky blue. So it's all of these shades that technically are like purple, blue, gold, but not like, and even like this angel wing shade, it's that warm silver that I like, where it's not like going to be, you know, early 90s cool tone silver. It's really gonna have that beautiful softness to it. I think this is a really well balanced color story. And I don't know if the camera is gonna pick it up, but again, this shade has just that fine sparkle to it. It's very pretty. It just makes for the most beautiful, like sexy, sultry, smoky eye. I'm gonna do the same on the other eye. I'll be right back. Okay, now I'm just gonna take the edge of that E54 and sort of blend out where that shimmer meets the mattes. So does anybody remember those lip colors that were like you put it on and you went like this and it like brought out glitter? I don't even know who made them. It doesn't matter, but that's what this eyeshadow reminds me of. When I first put this on wet, I see more of the plum undertone of the shadow. Then as I started, not with this brush obviously, but when I started almost like buffing that in, more of that sparkle came out. That they're not saying that that's what it does, but that's what I felt like happened. Like it's almost like as I rubbed it a bit and revealed more of the glitter that was under the pigment, it like got more sparkly. Like I feel like as I rubbed it a little bit more, it got more sparkly. So I guess, you know, if you just wanted to like pack it on, you could have more of that like metallic finish. And if you buff it out a bit more, you're gonna get more of that glitter to show. I don't know that that's the case. This is the first impressions, but that's how I'm feeling. All right, let's go ahead. I'm just gonna clean off, where's my switch? I'm just gonna clean off my little pencil brush here, and we are going to use, yeah, I mean, I could use Iris, that light purple shade, but let's go ahead and take Angel Wing. Again, that's that more like neutralized silver, and that's what I'm gonna use as my inner corner. I'm just gonna pop a bit. Honestly, with doing a smoky eye, I probably would have used a bit more of a high coverage concealer on my inner corner, but that's not what we did today. We used our Salt New York, and that's fine. I will say, by the way, I feel like the Salt New York is a light buildable coverage concealer. Okay, interesting. Let me swatch this shade. I probably should have swatched the shade before I put it on, but that's like the worst, most awkward swatch ever. Okay, I'm gonna give you some here. So it's a very interesting, I don't think the camera's gonna pick it up. It has almost like a soft pink undertone, like soft pinky silver, but neutral, but the sparkle in it is actually gold. So that was unexpected, but it's working. I was like, why is this not quite as like bright and cool toned as what I was expecting? And it's that gold sparkle that comes out. So that's really interesting. That's what happens when you don't swatch an entire palette. Well, now you know I have to swatch the last two sparkles in here, right? Let's go ahead and swatch Thunder, which is that sort of more smoky shade, and Brazil. And we'll put them right next to it here. Ooh, okay, Brazil. You know I love a good, just like molten kind of like neutral copper, like a bronzy shade. That's actually what that is more bronze and copper. See, I like this. This is super sexy, sultry, smoky eye without being too cool toned. Very fun. Okay, I'm gonna set this to the side and I'm gonna give you my thoughts on who I think that this is a great palette for at the end of this video. So stick around for that. All right, let's talk a little bit about the 2053 mascara. So I did wanna look up the claims on this mascara because it is fairly pricey. It's $36 and there is something about a lipstick. Well, now as I've gotten older, I'll pay $36 for a lipstick that I really love, but like for a mascara, sometimes I'm like, okay, it has to be like the best mascara I've ever had to pay $36. So let's look at the claims on this. They say it is fragrance free, so it's good for sensitive eyes. It has vegan Italian plankton extract to strengthen and stimulate lash growth. They say visible increase in eyelash length after 42 days of use. And there is a plant-based film former derived from pea starch. And by the way, these products are all made in Italy. So let's go ahead and give this a go. Now again, I'm excited to be able to give you my thoughts on this one after trying it for a few days. So as always, I am going to curl my lashes. I mean, it has to be a very rushed morning get ready for me to not curl my lashes. As long as I remember to put on mascara anyway. There have been days recently that I have forgotten to put on mascara. I don't want to talk about it. So they claim that this is, I don't know if you're going to be able to see that. My camera is not focusing. So they claim that this is a bumblebee shaped mascara wand. I don't find that it's bumblebee. It's just like very slightly fatter towards the middle. And they say that one coat is going to give you a nice, you know, natural defined look. And 2 to 3 will give you, you know, quite the bam and high volume, high drama look. Okay. A smoky eye is maybe not the best to do when you are going to be showing a mascara, but hopefully you'll be able to see the difference. So this just has a really nice, soft volume, I guess I would say. They do say to allow for 1 to 2 minutes between coats, so I'm quickly going to do the other eye. I almost always put on at least 2 coats of mascara, so I hold back my opinions until that second coat. Okay. As I apply my second coat, I do want to say my lashes are living sort of like a mediocre life right now because I haven't been that great about the lash serum that I usually use. I've been sort of mediocre about it, so they're not as good as they usually are. This side of my lashes, I have one spot that is a bit shorter, and some of those lashes, they just never grow as long, so I always have like a little spot that's, you know, not reaching out quite as far. So now we're gonna do coat 2. The one thing that I really enjoy about this mascara is that it is a soft, flexible formula. So it doesn't make me feel like I could impale someone with my eyelashes, which is good. I mean, not that people are running their fingers through my lashes or anything, but it's just nice when they feel a bit softer and not super crunchy. There's just something about that I enjoy. I also feel like if you really had to, that means it's also a more pliable formula. If, like, I don't know, you get a call and some friends want to get together in the evening and you're like, oh my gosh, I have like 10 minutes. You could very quickly recurl your eyelashes, slap on another coat of this maybe, and be good to go. You know, very stiff formulas, that's not really an option. It's not really an option. So here you can see we have a bit more volume built up. I am going to pop this onto my naughty side here. This side, they don't like to stay as perky either. As I've gotten older, I find that my lashes have gotten a bit more lazy and they don't like to hold a curl as much. And I don't know what that is, but I find that that's the case. And that is one of the caveats I would say to this mascara, you know, is that I find that it doesn't hold a curl and it doesn't curl the lashes very much. So if you already have like naturally somewhat curled or lashes that curl fairly easily and stay that way, you might really like this mascara. I just found that for me, especially because of these lashes, it just isn't quite as good. I'm just gonna add a 3rd coat. I will say, coat 3, like my good side, It starts looking real, real good. Very nice and thick, but not spidery. Very beautiful. This side, it just does not like to stay. It does not like to stay up. So I almost feel like I feel like it's already drooped the curl just a little bit, which is so disappointing. I don't know, maybe it's my lashes. I will keep giving this a shot throughout the month as I'm being a little bit more religious with my lash serum and seeing if maybe it's just these baldies right here that are ruining the show. But I just feel like it's just not quite as much for $36. It's not quite as much. If there was a sale and you wanted to try it out. Now I will say the brand did give me a discount code, so I'll have that link down below if this is something, if the formula, that soft, more like pliable, waxy formula sounds great to you and you don't have a problem like I do. I mean, this actually, coat 3, I feel like is pretty good. I just find that like throughout the day, it just gets a little bit sad. I'm just going to tell you right now though, I absolutely love the lipstick formula. So that is one that I would definitely recommend checking out if you do like a good, like creamy matte formula. So let's go ahead and grab Becky Sharp. So I'm just going to quickly wipe off this mask that I have so that you guys can see this in its full glory and its finish on its own. I will also give the disclaimer, my lips are still recovering from vacation. Some craziness happened. I'll be telling you about it probably in, I don't know, my vlog or something, but my lips really took a beating. So they're a little bit dry and are not living their best life. So I'm gonna do 1/2 here. I'm so excited about this one. Oh, love this. Absolutely love this. I'm gonna zoom you in a little bit more if I can. You can also get a little look at the mascara, maybe a little bit closer too. It's definitely got some Vava volume. I just feel like this side needs like a push-up bra. All right, second side. This is just the most flattering, natural, cool toned pink without being Pepto-Bismol. It is creamy, and this does not ever completely dry down to the point where I'm gonna feel, ooh, hello, like I'm gonna feel like as I'm like rubbing my lips together. And I like that. That does also mean that this is not by any means transfer proof. I don't even want to say it's transfer resistant, but it is long wear. I don't know, does that make any sense? But it just feels very creamy. And like I said, my lips are not living their best life. I do also feel like Becky Sharp is maybe just a little bit more matte than Montreux, but I could be wrong about that. Let's see if I can find a clean spot. Yeah, you can see I got a little bit of transfer here, and they're not by any means saying it is like transfer proof. But it did stay on for a long time. I do also think that Montreux shade maybe stained my lips a little bit, but I found like through drinking copious amounts of coffee and sparkling water, I still had a bit of color. I did touch up after lunch, but I felt like it looked great, and my lips still felt nice at the end of the night. Now, you all know that currently my favorite matte lipstick formula is the Lisa Eldridge True Velvet. That formula, by the way, the prices are very similar, if not the same. That formula, I would say, is a bit thicker and dries down a bit more. I will also say I think it's a bit more pigmented. That could be a pro or a con. You know, if you're someone where you like, when I did just a thin coat of Montreux, I did feel like I could like sheer it out a little bit, but I could also build it up more. So if you like having something that's maybe a bit thinner, you can wear it a bit more sheer, you might really enjoy these. I think that it's a beautiful formula. It didn't dry out my lips at all. I'm very happy with these. They are, by the way, fragrance free. So if you find that things with fragrance bother you, this would be a good option. Very excited. I would definitely consider getting more colors of these. The other colors, there was nothing that I was like, oh my gosh, I need this right now. So I would probably hold off right now, but I would definitely consider getting more of these lipsticks. Very comfortable. This color is very pretty. This one is gonna be a spring standby for me. I have a feeling. And by the way, you'll get a better look at that lipstick as well when you see the final check-in on the makeup from the last time that I wore most of this. I hope that's helpful, by the way, but I figured, well, since I did the wear test, you might as well get to see it. All right, I'm feeling pretty happy. And you know what? We didn't even use any setting mist. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's take the all-nighter. I'm just gonna get my ponytail out of the way here. Oh, still my fave. It's just still my favorite. So cute. I'm absolutely loving this. I'm just gonna zoom you out just a little bit more so you can get the final look. But can you see how, and honestly y'all, it's been like an hour. I've sat here, I had to like sort of take some mini breaks to do some stuff. So it's been an hour, and with my skin having seen a lot of sun, that usually means it's a little bit more on the dry side. And I do feel like I have a little bit more texture here, but the foundation is not crusty matte, but it's also not getting too glowy. I know that I am really going to like this one going into the summer. Honestly, for me, I probably will sheer it out with a bit of moisturizer. Like the primerizer is going to be really great, but really any moisturizer I will probably do just to sheer it out a little bit, make it more easy to apply and not have to go quite so fast. That is the one thing. Like I do find that it dries down really, really fast. So I think that that just gives a little bit more longevity as you pop it on the skin. But I could actually, I bet this would even work to use as a concealer over breakouts, just because I do think that it's a bit more pigmented when you use it straight, you know, with a dry brush, even with your fingers. So I'm really liking this one. So thanks to Urban Decay for sending this over. What else do I have to chat about? I think pretty much everything today was a win. I can't wait to use the Sigma eyeshadow palette more. Now, I will say, this is a beautiful palette. I think the formulas are beautiful from what I've used so far. The matte formula is so nice and creamy. It's not overly creamy to where it's not easy to like blend out, but it has a beautiful quality to it. I tell you what, if you haven't tried Sigma eyeshadows and you like something that is, I think for me, the thing about the brand is their shimmers are more of like a beautiful standard shimmer. Now these ones with the sparkle in them are a little something special, but it's not like highly metallic foiled. If they do have a duochrome shade, it's not going to be like intense blinding light. It's going to be a little bit softer, but that also means incredibly easy to wear. And I think that's exactly what this palette is with both the formulas and the actual color story. Easy to wear shades. I think just about anybody could use this palette or wear this palette. I think that, again, these desaturated tones in here are going to make it easy for anyone. Whether you have really been diving into color and you want some neutrals to be able to like soften that life, or you are a neutrals makeup lover and you want a little bit of color, and this is a great way to ease into that. Do I think that this color story is unique? No, I think we can all right now think of a few that are similar, but this one, oh, I cannot wait to use these. Can you believe that I didn't dive into those? But listen, if you're gonna have cool neutrals in the name, I gotta use the cools. I gotta use the cools. All right, so like I said, if you are looking for a beautiful, soft neutrals palette, this is a great one. You know, $52. I think that my code KEEPBEAUTYREAL saves you 10%. It might be 15, but I think it's 10%. And again, this will be available on the 2nd. I will try to get another look posted up on Instagram very soon so that you can check that out. The brush inside is great quality, so that I think also adds value. You know, like I said, sometimes in these palettes, the brushes are just like, pff, you know, it's just like cheap. But this one was a really nice one, and it's just so pretty. It's absolutely so pretty. And really, my makeup vibe has been shifting more into easy, neutral with an appreciation for color. You know, like I want a little pop of color in there, but I don't need it to be screaming color. I do still like that every once in a while, but this is just so quick and easy. I think this is a year-round banger, and I'm so excited that the brand sent it over. All right, what else do we have? RMS bronzer. So glad I love it. So glad it is exactly what I wanted. I would like to see them come out with a couple darker shades. I do think that that's going to be a good idea. I've been enjoying the Salt New York Best Case Concealer. For me, it is one of those products that I'm going to be curious to see how it is going into the warmer, balmy season. It's not quite as emollient as the Sneaky Balm, by the way. It definitely has a bit more coverage and a bit more stayability to it, I guess. You know that I love the Sneaky Balm as well, but this does have a little bit more of a bam to it. If you love that and you wanted just a little bit more kick in the pants as far as coverage, I think you're really going to enjoy this. And of course, Kiki nails undertones so well, so I absolutely love that as well. Loving the lipstick, y'all. Absolutely a win for me. So thank you so much. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. Again, I will have everything pinned in the description of this video for you. And again, if you do choose to shop through my links, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. But of course, it's never necessary. I just hope that my video has been helpful for you. That being said, if it has been, please don't forget to like this video. All right, lovelies, that is going to be the end of today's makeup play date. However, now I'm going to just give you a quick clip of that wear test from the other day. I just thought that it might be helpful to see something in natural light, certainly a bit more light than we have right now. All right, lovelies, I will see you really soon. Hey, lovelies, I thought it might be nice to do a little natural light check-in. So it's been about 5 hours since I put all this makeup on. So here you can see in fairly indirect natural light, I would say. I'm loving it. I'm really loving, the skin looks great. The lipstick feels really nice. Can you hear doggy toenails? That's a story for another day. But I have really been enjoying this lipstick. My lips do feel a bit dry, but no more dry than they would without any lipstick on. Like I said, my lips are just suffering a little bit right now. So very happy with this. The color has stayed on really nicely. I even had a bit of a nibble and I've been sipping some water. So pretty good. It's not transfer proof, but it is quite long wear. I am planning on doing a little lip touch up because I'm going to be filming more. So I just wanted to give you a look. I have a bit of glow, but not too much. You know, I would say I have normal to dry skin in the wintertime. Oh, here comes the sun. What I was going to say is I would say that I have normal to dry skin to very dry skin in the wintertime. And then now as the weather warms up, I tend to get more normal. And then I do sometimes get a little combo on my nose. So really liking the way that this foundation is laying. Absolutely pretty. Yeah, really liking this. So I'm gonna go touch up the lips, keep filming, but I want to give you a little check-in.